set up the camera for panorama pictures, you can use the camera's Stitch Assist mode. For more control over functions, you can also use the camera's manual mode. If you do use the manual mode, you'll need to lock the exposure, turn the flash off, set an appropriate white balance, and use the manual focus. Let's start by setting the Stitch Assist mode. Turn the mode dial to SCN. Now use the control dial to set the appropriate Stitch Assist scene. There are two Stitch Assist options. One allows you to pan to the left, while the other allows you to pan to the right. The Stitch Assist scenes will help you properly align the pictures in the back. They also lock the exposure and white balance to the first picture taken. So you want to make sure the first picture taken is not the brightest or the darkest picture in the series of shots. What I mean by that is if you're taking a series of pictures and in one of the shots you have the sun, you don't want the first picture to be the shot with the sun, and you also don't want the last picture to be the shot with the sun. So the first picture you take of something in between the brightest and darkest image in the series. And then you disregard that image and start taking the series of pictures from frame 2 and onwards. The way to use the Stitch Assist scene is by taking a picture. Since I'm panning to the right, the camera will show you the previous picture taken on the left side and the live view on the right side. So now all I have to do is align these two images. The horizontal alignment does not need to be perfect. You don't need to overlap it exactly as the camera suggests. However, the vertical alignment should be as close as possible. So I'll place my second picture right there, and then press the shutter button again to take a second shot. Now the second picture is placed on the left, and I can continue with picture number 3. If I feel that the previous picture did not turn out right, and I want to take it again, I can use the left navigation button to go back and take picture number 2 over again. It doesn't mean that picture number 2 was erased just now. I can go back to the right, place picture number 2 back in its place, and continue on with picture number 3. Once you're done with the series, press the Set button to escape or start a new series. Since the Stitch Assist scene only allows you to stitch left or right, you might want to use the manual mode if you want to stitch up and down, for example with a waterfall. Turn the mode dial to M. The manual mode allows you to control both the shutter speed and the aperture. I can use the control dial to set the shutter speed and the lens ring in the front to set the aperture, and use the light meter right here to see when the image is properly exposed. Or I can press the shutter button halfway, and with the shutter button pressed halfway, I can simultaneously press the up navigation button. The shutter speed and the aperture are automatically set for me. Now if I want to fine-tune these settings, I can use the control dial or the lens ring in the front. Now you want to make sure the flash is turned off. Press the flash button right here and use the control dial to choose flash off. You don't want to use flash when stitching pictures because the lighting will be very uneven. Set the appropriate white balance, press the function button right here in the center, and go down to white balance. I'm assuming this is outdoors, so I'll use my control dial to set the white balance to daylight. However, if you are taking a picture of an indoor room, for example, you can set it to tungsten instead. With the proper white balance selected, go ahead and press Set to escape the function menu. Now my exposure is locked, my white balance is properly set, and my flash is turned off. You want to lock the manual focus to a specific distance. You don't want the camera finding a new focus point with every picture you take. The way you do that is by first going into the main menu. Use the control dial to go down until you get to Safety Manual Focus. Make sure this is turned off. By default, it is turned on. So turn this off by using either the right or left navigation buttons and then press the menu button to escape the main menu. With the Safety Manual Focus off, the camera will not try to autofocus even though you have the manual focus set. Now let's go ahead and lock the manual focus. Again, press the shutter button halfway. focus on something in the distance. When the focus is locked, keep the shutter button pressed halfway and press the left navigation button, or the manual focus icon. Now the manual focus is locked. Now you'll notice I can still control the manual focus distance by using the control dial. To change that back to adjusting the shutter speed, simply press the up navigation button. Now with the manual focus locked, my exposure is locked, and my white balance is properly set, and my flash is turned off, I can go ahead and start taking my series of pictures. Start with the first picture in your series. Go ahead and take that picture. For the second shot, take what's in the center of the frame and move it to either the right, left, top, or bottom, depending on which way you're panning. So for example, if the nose is right now in the center of my frame, I'll move it right over to the left and keep it at the center. Now I'll go ahead and take the second picture, and so on. Once the series of pictures has been captured, you'll need to download those pictures into your computer and import them into a photo stitching application such as the one that came with this camera.